All right, ready?
Are you asking me if I'm ready? Motherfucker. Are you asking me if I'm ready?
What?
This
All
little
right.
big head motherfucker.
3, 2.
No, wait, hold on. You're asking me if I'm ready. I've been sitting here waiting for your ass to do an intro, and you have the nerve.
Do you not understand my habits
I'm
yet?
ready.
All right?
Because I don't understand your habits, do not mean I have to put up with your habits. Okay, those are two different things.
Asking you if you're ready is a rhetorical question that will lead me into the process of the startup.
You know what also leads you to start off? Is my foot up your ass.
You almost didn't get that out.
Well, I did, though. Does it almost doesn't count?
You tripped over yourself a little bit.
Almost doesn't count. My foot up your ass, it will do it too, bro.
Let me see that happen.
Bend over. What? You just said it, right? Okay.
Mad sus.
Mad
sus.
Well, how? Okay. When I say don't put my foot up your ass, you say, well, let me see it. Well, how do you expect me to put my foot up your ass if you don't bend over?
Mad sus.
Man.
Mad sus.
Man, your high school education must have been real pitiful.
3, 2, 1. Welcome everybody to another episode of Off the Cuff. It's your boy D with your boy JR. Why you gotta be vulgar in the startup? Why you gotta do all that? I don't understand. Why you got? What's all that for?
I was actually scratching
with your middle finger. You think you slick?
Scratching your middle finger all the time.
How old are you?
That's not
that. No, that's not how you did it.
Well, I was scratching. Anyways, talk to the folks. Sorry about that. Some people are just rude.
What's up?
They all on tangents.
What's up, people? My friends, we are just coming off viewing Suicide Squad. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad, the newer version done by James Gunn of Guardians of the Galaxy fame. What's your initial thoughts?
I was very entertained.
Where did the glasses come from?
Hey, man, you always keep staying on your toes, man. Gotta stay on your toes. Anyways, I mean, your prescription. It was good. It was good. Much better than the first one. I mean, I have to admit, James Gunn has done a good. Whoa, bro, whoa!
No, I'm not interrupting.
Keep the air down. I'm talking.
All right, go ahead. Talk.
No, you can't answer yourself. Keep the line here. I think James Gunn did a very good job. That dude, get away from me! Get away from me! You were scaring me. Is there HR available? At HR, anyone?
They've abandoned us a long time ago.
Clearly, I think James Gunn did a great job. It felt like I was watching Guardians of the Galaxy just with Suicide Squad. I think the best part about the whole thing was they stuck to a story and they had all these extra tangents where you have to sit there and figure out what the fuck's going on. It had just one narrative stuck to it and just let the comedy in between kind of speak for itself. I loved it. I watch it again. I recommend watching it again. Much better than the first one. Like, it blows it out the water.
Sorry,
Will Smith.
This is definitely a James Gunn movie. You can feel it right off the bat. The stylistic approach to all the action, the way that the humor just kind of is allowed to breathe. It's pretty fast paced in the beginning. They throw a lot at you.
But it all makes sense.
It does. They circle back and everything makes sense. I will definitely agree that it's better than the first Suicide Squad movie by far. It's not even close.
It's within the realm of like the DC movie hierarchy, it's up there with.
Yeah, DC's moving in the right direction this one.
With this one.
Yes.
You agree. I think you might say something real suspect. I'm like, bro, you're going too far. I mean, we know James Gunn is a very good director. We didn't know how it was going to look, and I'm not going to lie, some of the characters they chose for this second installment, I wasn't really too knowledgeable on or too keen on, even the ones I didn't know about.
Oh, they dug down they were digging in the crates for some random characters.
It's Suicide Squad too, so there is really no rhyme or reason, right? Like, they're a bunch of random people,
and you need some expendable people because you're gonna lose some of them.
But I do appreciate how they kind of did things. I mean, I wasn't paying attention early. It was slow to start because what was going on. I don't want to Are we doing spoilers? Are we not allowed to do spoilers on this show?
Should I? I mean, I can throw the little spoiler
alert. I mean, that's how we kind of. If we're gonna talk about the movie, you gotta anticipate spoilers, right?
I mean, we kind of did one last week with the Black Widow thing.
But we had been on for a while. Like we did talk about it, but it was like 3 or 4 weeks later. We're talking about it 2 days after it's come out. That 2 days, man, because we want to give you guys our full review in a very timely manner. So when you do go watch it, you're not wasting your time.
Trying to give you what you want when you want it.
You're welcome. You're all welcome. Send checks in the mail.
Please send money, please.
I know you can cut a check.
Yeah, like I said, definitely better than the first Suicide Squad. Mm-hmm. Major difference. The first Suicide Squad movie was just all over the place. It was a hot mess. You had a bunch of likable characters who you either did too much with or not enough with, and then you try to shoehorn this whole Joker angle. I understand everybody loves Joker. He didn't have to be in that first movie.
He wasn't even in the movie. He wasn't in the movie. What are you talking about? Like, his whole thing was, he just popped at the end and was like, it was so dumb. It was the dumbest thing ever. Like, they talked about Jared Leto this and Jared Leto that. By the way, I don't give two shits about Jared Leto. I don't know about you, but I don't care either way.
There was potential for his Joker.
I mean, there could have been potential, but it was not. They cut out anything he had on the movie to the end, and I'm like, why did you talk about how much Jared Leto was doing Joker in Suicide Squad just to have like a quick 5-minute appearance? It just doesn't make sense. Like, why would anyone do that?
Captain Boomerang had 20 times more screen time than Joker did in that first movie.
Yeah, he did, and honestly, that makes more sense.
Ripcord had more screen time. And Ripcord got his head blown off in the thing is, his second scene.
Suicide Squad doesn't need Joker, so why even force the Joker angle in there? Just because you have Harley Quinn? No, you don't. She's like, first of all, Harley Quinn's a great character on her own, and you guys pairing Harley Quinn with the Joker constantly kind of diminishes her shine. She let her, as you can see in this movie here, does a good job. She did a good job with Birds of Prey as well. That was also another good movie, another team up. That movie was okay, better than Suicide Squad 1, but this was probably their best team up movie yet.
Yeah,
they are getting better.
I will say that there were times that I kind of find myself comparing it to Guardians just because the feel of it was so similar.
It makes sense.
It's not Guardians. I think the major difference there is when I'm watching Guardians 1 and 2, I care about those characters a little more. Well, I mean, I think you know the characters more now, because when you first watched Guardians, are you really going to tell me you really knew were up to you actually were up to date with the Guardians who they were? No, absolutely not.
No one did. It was only until you watched the movie you had some type of feeling towards them, and you watched the second and you're like, oh, this is good.
Yeah, but I'm not saying leading into the movie, like going in with my outside knowledge. I'm talking about movie from start to finish. Guardians 1 starts, we get introduced to Star-Lord, we meet Gamora.
Yeah.
I am intrigued by every character that they present to me immediately, or almost immediately. Whereas here, and maybe it's some of the stain left by the first Suicide Squad movie, but just knowing he's probably not gonna live too long. He's probably they didn't even discuss where he comes from.
The whole thing is, I just beg to differ because I feel like your perception of what the Guardians of the Galaxy is now is influenced what you thought back then. And I think that's what you're doing. What you're saying is actually correct, but I feel like we all did not know anything about Guardians of the Galaxy, and that we just said, why trust what Marvel has been doing? So we're gonna watch it, and I'm gonna give it a good opinion. And somehow it was great. So then you know what I'm saying? Like, your perception after that kind of changes what you thought going into it. And this one, same thing. We all kind of had low expectations, right? So and the thing is, since even though the characters roll up in the characters, it doesn't feel like a continuation of the first one. It just seems like a separate movie altogether.
It does.
Yeah, and that's, I think, is the good and bad about it, because while I get not want to reference the first one, having that overlap makes it kind of confusing. So it's like, so are we still using that or not? You know what I'm saying? Like, you have Amanda Waller, you have Harley Quinn, Flag, like all those characters for the first one are in. Can we say first and second one? I mean, even though they don't really say two, but it is kind of a
first
second one,
the only like knowledge from the first movie that carries over to the second is that Harley has met Rick Flag before.
Yeah, the Rick Flag character I think is necessary, and also Viola Davis as Amanda Waller, who I say again is the perfect Amanda Waller.
She steals every scene she's in.
I feel like whoever designed Amanda Waller had her in mind, but didn't really know it till you see her. I'm like, no, she's Amanda Waller. Like, you can't have anyone play Amanda Waller, even in the cartoon version. Well, it has to be Viola Davis.
Viola Davis starts yelling in that office, and I think I'm in trouble.
Oh yeah, I felt back in school again. I'm like, oh, sorry. But it was good. It was a good movie. I have to admit, it's James Gunn is starting to steer the DC ship in the right direction. Maybe he should take a stab at the Justice League or something like that.
Let's not get crazy.
Well, I mean, someone needs to fix that trash. First of all, I mean, I don't know if you know this. With how they're doing in the Flash, right? Mm-hmm. Rumors are they're switching things up and not going with the Reverse Flash, but more with Savitar, which is kind of a whole new version. I guarantee you, not too many people know about the Savitar version, which is basically a reincarnation of Barry Allen. Spoiler alert.
Is it a spoiler? I mean, that's
well, I gave him to most people didn't know it, but to be honest with you, your first Flash movie should have the best villain available, right? Like, you should have them on our Nemesis,
right?
Like, it makes sense. You should have an introduction movie, and I agree. Like, with the back, Marvel has spoiled these backgrounds, but it's very crucial to have these guys' identities known ahead of time and where they come from, so that you don't have to keep doing it all over again. And things will make sense as these characters progress, because you want to see also an arcing set, an arcing structure with every character. When you have these characters just kind of thrown in, you're like, who is this person? Why do they matter? And I think you were touching on that earlier, also Guardians of the Galaxy, where you're like, I knew who Star-Lord was because we got a background about him. Same thing with Gamora. And yes, for some strange reason, DC does not care about backstories. I don't know why, but they do matter. Like, it makes things easier because I don't have to do a backstory. But I will say this: we did not need a backstory for a lot of these characters. The only character I really would care about a legit backstory would be like Harley Quinn. And maybe like Amanda Waller. Because like it'd be kind of cool to have just know how she got to where she is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, how'd she even get there?
Like why she be the person she is. But the other characters, since they're all interchangeable, it's really hard to develop a backstory when you know when they're gonna die. It's the Suicide Squad. Someone has to die. You can't come back. You can't. You're not supposed to all come back from these missions.
Yeah, no.
Like, you're expecting at least half the squad die.
Half of them, at least.
And I will spoil alert. Yes, half the squad does die of the total people they sent. That's all I'm gonna say. That's true. But other than that, it still matters. Like, backgrounds do matter, but with characters that are really side characters that are gonna die, not so much.
Let's talk about the action. What do you think about the action scenes altogether?
It was very bloody. I was like,
yeah.
I felt like I was watching a Quentin Tarantino movie when I came to the blood.
Very much R-rated. It is a hard R.
I was like, okay. I mean, I have that right there did not feel like a Disney movie whatsoever.
Oh no,
Disney would never do all that, and that's the reason why I'm so upset how much they've been failing with the DC movies, because you can go darker, and everyone likes these darker characters. Let's be real, these fallen heroes that kind of go off the beaten path. It's all perfect, but when you have Disney involved, they want everything punky, cozy and whatnot. So you miss that aspect. DC has these characters that do, and they just don't know how to give it to us in a proper manner until today. Well, yesterday's when it dropped, but yeah.
They're willing to take the chance on Suicide Squad because it's not their main roster. They can't have Justice League ripping heads off and tearing people in half and all that.
You did not watch Zack Snyder's Justice League,
That's true.
which was much better than the first one, even though it still was bad. I'll tell you right now, Wonder Woman, she was a savage. I mean, if you want to see something that's like, you're like, oh wow, wait, they were gonna go with this, and I don't know why. Like the reason why they didn't go with it wasn't because of the blood. It was about Zack Snyder wouldn't lessen the movie because it was so long, and I'm like, well, guess because you don't have backstories, which is true. Zack Snyder was like, I just want to get backstories to some of these characters. Like, I just can't just go with a movie, and it's like you need to build up things.
Right.
The Suicide Squad, you don't need that, so you can go out with it because they're going to have someone die. With Justice League, you can't have all these major characters you try to use again and over again, and not sit there and say, oh, this is a character presenting, this is who he is, this is his background. And the interesting thing with the Zack Snyder thing is Zack Snyder had a darker view, which is great, but when they redid everything, they kind of made things a little bit more poppy. And it didn't really work for a lot of characters except for Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman worked for, but I feel like the reason why is because they didn't care initially enough about Wonder Woman to get too many hands involved, so it was able to do it. It was able to do its own thing and work. But when you have a lot of heads that have all different ideas, like central, one person saying yes, no, you get crap. And that's what we've been getting for years on that with DC side.
Yeah.
Crap. Great characters they have, but just crap of how they want to present to us as fans. And I'm upset about that. But Suicide Squad, again, even John Cena.
Yeah, which if we can circle back to the whole action, because I think outside of the humor, the action is where the movie shines. Because you have specific sequences. I do. When you do action on a type of movie like this, there's several different ways you can do it. You either have your whole hand-to-hand martial arts combat up close, or you have your special effects type of deal with energy and blasts and whatever.
Yeah.
They kind of dabble in not so much the energy. The hand-to-hand is great. The Harley Quinn sequence, top notch.
Yeah,
top notch.
But
also the sequence when you have Peacemaker and Idris Elba. What's his
Bloodsport?
Bloodsport. I'm never going to remember that name. I don't know why.
It's like the movie.
Because Bloodsport is the same as Deadshot, which is the same as 5 other characters. But anyway,
same as Peacemaker too. You're the same character. Literally speaking, the movie says, "Well, we do the same thing, so why do you need them?"
Yeah.
You find out why later on, but he points out
it's a good callback. But their early sequence with it, when it's the two of them running through the scene, good stuff. Really good stuff. And especially with the Harley towards the end when they add in the special effects and all that, it's very stylistic, which I appreciate. So,
well, I feel like you like the hand-to-hand combat more, and that's the reason why. Like, it's weird. Like, I get what you're saying, and for me, it's like I don't mind the big action. It just has to be done properly. When you have more hand-to-hand combat, it's easier to portray it on a movie and make it nice and simple. Because it's cleaner. I mean, none of these characters have powers.
You would think so, but so many modern movies these days, when you have a combat scene or action scene, all they do is just start going into the shaky cam vision. I hate that stuff.
Well, that's different. That depends on the director. I don't think all directors do that. Like, James.
Yeah, not everybody does it. Yeah, James Gunn did not do it. Thank God.
I was just talking about more of this fighting sequence. Like the camera angles and stuff. I see that. But like, what I was more referring to, like the actual fighting, and here it works, it's weird. When you see action scene, for me, I think of boom, 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 blasting and everything. I don't think of like the hand-to-hand combat thing because I'm like, that's not action anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, but which is great is like you get more of the. None of these guys have powers. Everyone has a gun or anything, which makes sense, right?
Yeah,
they have guns. They're not like these extra, like maybe one per. I guess
Polka Dot Man had powers,
but even then he didn't use it often. It was like it was only when he saw his mom. Like it was crazy. But the thing is, his powers are polka dots, so it's really easy, right? Like it wasn't like something that was so over the top where you're like, man, I wish they would have kept it more simple. Which is what James Gunn does in this. I think it works as things are just more simple. Like the storyline's simple, the action's simple. You know, they're not trying to go overboard. They just try to give us a good, consistent
100%
movie,
100,
up and down. And
100%.
I'm for that. Like everything does not need a blockbuster, but if you just present it right, it can still be a good movie and sell well.
Yeah.
And I think this one will actually be one of the more successful ones in their collection.
Say, listen, we're gonna give you this set of characters. They have an objective.
Yeah.
We're gonna just watch them do it. A little occasional side story every once in a while, but pretty much we're gonna stick to the path here. Boom, that's all you need. You don't have to overcomplicate it. You don't have to shoehorn Joker into this for some reason.
I was waiting.
Good.
I was waiting. I was like,
wouldn't have
they're gonna do
shocked.
it. Unless James Gunn said, no, we're not doing that, bro.
Like,
He must have said, no.
Jared Leto showed up on set. He was like, "Nah, you're good. I'll call you. You're good."
Next movie, go to Zack Snyder. Do that stuff anymore. I know, neither do you. We're good. The one thing I have to say though, I like how you're starting to take some Marvel things with them end scenes now, like after movie scenes. They've never done before, and now they're starting to do it, which is great. I won't tell you what the end scene is, but make sure you watch it fully, people, because there's a part that leads to something that's already in production. Most people do know. I won't say it, but that's as far as I'm going.
There's two scenes. There's one immediately after the end, and then you have your
After the credit scene.
end credit
Those
scene.
are the ones that we're talking about.
Yeah. That's the important one.
Yeah. But on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate it?
I'll go strong 7.
Now, does a 7 compare to your Marvel ratings, or would you say you have a different rating system for DC versus Marvel?
Nah, it's the same. If I'm going from a scale of 10.
What name is 7 you would give for a Marvel movie, if you don't mind me asking?
Let's see. What's a 7 on a Marvel? The Ant-Man 1. I went 7.
Okay.
Maybe for different reasons, but
I respect that. I do like Ant-Man.
Yeah.
It's a good movie. And if I'm comparing it to Ant-Man, I was like, yeah, it's about on par. Yeah, I'd say I give it a 7 too now. I was gonna go like 6.5, maybe. That wasn't an 8, but it's something you watch over and over again and not be disappointed.
I feel like a 6. Cause maybe it's just the school grade or whatever. Like I feel like a 6 is a fail. So I'm not gonna fail this movie.
Like 6 is like a C minus.
Wouldn't that be a 7?
No, I think
7. Like a 70 is a C minus.
Is it? I thought 65 is a C minus.
Like 100 is A plus. 90 is B plus.
No, 90 is A minus. B plus is 98.
I guess 89. Okay. But yeah,
B's
still
are 85, right?
Yeah.
B is 85, so
C is 75.
Yeah, so C minus would be 70.
Right. So again, I guess D's would be in the 60s. Anyway, it's a 7. I feel good calling it a 7.
I agree with you. I don't know why I'm going to say, but I agree with you. So the fact that you had to go there to
I don't know where that was
for
going.
the second, third time, you got the phrase you wanted. I agree with you, Dennis.
It's a good movie. It's entertaining. If you got HBO Max, what are you doing? Go watch the damn thing.
It's not behind the paywalls. Disney.
Right. Go watch it. I can't. Was this an IMAX? Do you know?
I believe so, actually. I think it was released on both. I don't have to check.
I would imagine it looks pretty decent in IMAX.
I would imagine, too.
It's not necessary, but, I mean, if you feel like splurging.
I agree. It's not necessary for that movie.
Yeah.
But there's certain movies that IMAX is needed. This is not one of them. I believe that the one part that was part of the IMAX experience was the Weeknd's. You hear the Weeknd had a video that had to be removed from IMAX theaters because it could cause seizures.
I did not know.
Yeah, I think it was part of this. Like, it was supposed to be one of the songs from the
soundtrack.
Yeah,
really?
Soundtrack, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So what were they playing, like the music video?
I think beforehand, it was something like that. I know I couldn't get all the details. Sorry, I heard it when I was listening to another show of mine, and they mentioned that the Weeknd had to pull his video because in IMAX because of the seizures and all the lights and everything. And it was related to all this because it was part of the soundtrack.
That's crazy.
The more you know, people.
Yeah, right.
You know, you're welcome. You're all welcome.
If you went to go see this in IMAX and you had a seizure, let us know in the comments.
Well, I don't think they'll be ready to come.
They can type. They can type from the from the hospital room.
I don't know. I've never had a seizure, but
listen, man. If they have the story, please.
I'm so kind of heartless. Yeah. Just let us know if you're okay in the comments.
Say you're okay first.
I just want to make sure you're okay. Some people have a heart, and other people are just savages.
If they're well enough to leave a comment, then it's already assumed that they're not in any significant danger.
Maybe not. I don't know, but I'm not going to sit there and demand them make it to reach out to us off the bat. Now, if they want to leave a comment on their own accord, that's fine. But I want them to know that we care about them. Well, I care about you.
We care.
I can't say much to others. Just saying.
Are those real 3D glasses? Those are movie theater glasses?
Oh yeah. I mean, we just watched the movie, not in 3D. I mean, I think they got the lenses, but yeah. I mean,
that's why I was trying to.
Yeah. You don't put my eye out, dude. Who does that?
I wanted to make it clear to the people that there are no lenses in this thing.
You know what you can say? There's no lenses in the thing, and that's how you make it clear.
It's funnier if I poke your eye out.
No, really?
Yeah.
No, how about I poke your eye first, and you tell me how funny it is?
That's just petty. I don't know.
No, I say you first, so it's not really petty. It's just me.
No, but you said it in response to me suggesting that, and my suggestion.
I think that suggestion is bad, but let me see how you feel first.
No, I think
if you're okay with it.
My suggestion is very entertaining to the people.
I don't think so.
I beg to differ.
I don't think so. No one likes you.
We can agree to disagree.
No, we can disagree on that one.
No, we can agree to disagree.
No, that's just straight disagreement.
If you want to see me poke his eyes out with his fake glasses, let me know in the comments.
Oh wait, I mean, you don't like getting your poke?
I'm not wearing fake glasses.
It's not fake. These are real glasses. These are real glasses. See, they are real. You see that?
Those are real frames.
They don't say they serve no purpose, but they still are real. Different story, man. You get your facts straight, man. Get your facts straight.
Oh man,
yeah.
Go see Suicide Squad. If you saw Suicide Squad and you have your opinions, share your opinions with us. Let's see. You think we're off base with our rating? Let us know.
Yeah, I think 7 is good. Like it's not like 8. 8 would be too much. I feel like 8 would be too much.
Yeah,
7 is like this good sweet spot where like no, yeah, it feels like a 7 movie. Like you can watch it again, your leisure. It's not something you have to watch, but it's something that's like it's palatable. So I think if you have something that's below a 7, don't leave a comment. I feel like you just be a hater.
No, leave the comment. Be a hater. I want to see it. I want to see the justification.
There's no justification. Trolls don't have justification.
It might not be a troll. Maybe they got some legitimate reason.
Okay.
Give them a chance.
Well, because the first one was about, a 4? This one's definitely better than the fourth one.
Yeah, I would have said 5.
5. Yeah. It was an average.
I don't consider 5 average.
What do you? On a scale of 1 to 10, 5 is not average.
Okay, literally yes. It would be the average. Okay, 1 to 10.
I mean, we may be in the same high school, but somehow some people have a different perspective.
Again, it comes to like where a D and an F would lie.
Well, I said,
what's an F?
What's an F?
What would you say an F is?
Where does it start?
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I mean, we said D was what? 60?
65.
65 is D, right?
Right.
So D minus would be 70. So everything after D minus would be 60. It would be after anything below 60.
Right.
So that's a 59.
Right.
Lower.
So a 5 in that case would be an F.
Yeah, but we said scale 1. We're talking about scale 1 to 10, bro.
I know, but I'm letting you know what I related to.
But when I asked you for your score, you gave me a 7. Right, on a scale of 1 to 10.
Right.
So when I say it's average on a scale of 1 to 10 is a 5, I don't know why you're talking about D's and C's. Or why are you going to that route?
I don't know, man. It's a school grading ingrained in
you
my
haven't been
head.
in school for how long now?
I don't know, man.
Let it go. You still failed. Get out.
I didn't fail.
Oh, you graduated solution? Get out of here. They let anyone graduate nowadays.
Yeah, they let you.
Yeah, I know. Thanks, Mr. Donovan.
Thanks. Who'd you say?
Mr. Donovan.
Oh, Mr. Donovan. Okay.
Who doesn't love Mr. Donovan?
Oh, Mr. Donovan was the best.
Let me sleep during class. Every class.
Yeah. I mean, he knew. He knew.
I mean, the man was smart, but he was boring.
It was tough. That's a tough. Imagine taking driver's ed with him.
First of all, I would not be in the same car as Mr. Donovan.
I mean, half the time was just like driving with him, going on errands to City Island.
Honestly, that makes sense. I would do the same thing. If I would be doing driving class after school, I'm getting shit for my wife and kids. Oh, wait. All right, stop here. We're going to Stop and Shop, guys.
Seriously.
Grocery shopping. You guys can all have money while he's doing his errands. That's great. Oh, man.
Oh, man.
Just keep it parking. Keep it idle.
Yeah.
You guys know the hazard.
Keep the motor
Quick
running.
test. Where are the hazard signs? Boom. Good. Keep it there. Gotta go real quick.
You put your seatbelt on, you pass.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. All right. I think we got to talk about a little bit more of a serious subject matter now, right?
Yeah, I mean, Simone Biles, coming back after dealing with her, issue with, mental and everything. She came back, won the bronze. Kudos to her. Overcoming some really tough barriers. And by the way, the event she won a bronze in is the same event she got a bronze in 4 years ago. So clearly she was able to meet the same level she had back then. So that shows, what this young woman can really, push through some tough times. I'm very impressed. But you were saying, sir.
Earlier in the week when, during one of our professional show meetings, you brought to my attention this viral, I believe it was a Facebook post?
Yeah, by a young man named, well, not a young man, even though he's around our age. Byron Heath, I believe it is.
He was a young dad.
Yeah. Father of two girls.
Correct.
And, he shared his thoughts on the whole Simone Biles situation, which I was, after hearing and actually listening to it, put a lot of perspective for me and blew my mind away, because what he referenced, I remember very vividly, and I actually watched it. When you read it, I actually watched Kerry Strug in that situation again, and wow. Yeah, I say wow.
Do you want to fill the people in if they don't know who Kerry Strug is?
Well, Kerry Strug, she was Olympic gold medalist. How long ago was maybe
this
10, 15 years ago, something like that? Longer than that.
I think it was longer.
Yeah, maybe back in early 2000s, 1990, 96. It was 1996, wasn't it? And it took me a minute. I'm old, guys. I'm old a little bit. But yeah, she during 96 Olympics. It takes you a while. She
96 Olympics.
She actually won the gold for us, and the perception was her last event on the pole vault. Was it pole vault or? I'm not good with gymnastics and what they were doing, but
not pole vault. I think it was just the vault.
The vault, okay.
Yeah.
The vault, where she ended up hurting herself and actually doing some damage to her ankle. She got the gold. What people don't know is that she was injured right beforehand, and she still, we'll say she toughed through it, and then did it again to get light in the gold for us. Now, after we read this, it will explain a lot of why I'm kind of hesitant on a lot of information.
Yeah,
Dennis.
Sure. We, he brought it to my attention, and I agree that this message is worth repeating. So bear with me as we read through this a little bit, but I think this will definitely open your eyes up if you have an opinion on this whole Simone Biles angle. So the post goes as follows. This realization I had about Simone Biles is going to make some people mad, but oh well. Yesterday I was excited to show my daughters Kerry Strug's famous one-leg vault. It was a defining Olympic moment that I watched live as a kid, and my girls watched raptly as Strug fell and then limped back to leap again. But for some reason, I wasn't as inspired watching it this time. In fact, I felt a little sick. Maybe being a father and teacher has made me soft, but all I could see was how Kerry Strug looked at her coach, Bella Caroli?
Yeah, Caroli.
With pleading, terrified eyes, while he shouted back, "You can do it," over and over again. My daughters didn't cheer when Strug landed her second vault. Instead, they frowned in concern as she collapsed in agony and frantic tears. Why did she jump again if she was hurt? One of my girls asked. I made some inane reply about the heart of a champion or Olympic spirit, but in the back of my mind, a thought was festering. She shouldn't have jumped again. The more the thought echoed, the stronger my realization became. Coach Caroli should have gotten his visibly injured athlete medical help immediately. Excuse me. Now that I have two young daughters in gymnastics, I know it's emotional.
You got two young daughters too.
Yeah, you know. Now that I have two young daughters in gymnastics, I expect their safety to be the coach's number one priority. Instead, Bella Caroli told Strug to vault again. And he got what he wanted, a gold medal that was more important to him than his athlete's health. I'm sure people will say Kerry Strug was a competitor. She wanted to push through the injury. That's probably true. But since the last Olympics, we've also learned these athletes were put into positions where they could be both systematically abused, emotionally and physically, all while being inundated with win-at-all-costs messaging. A teenager under those conditions should have been protected and told no medal is worth the risk of permanent injury. In fact, we now know that Strug's vault wasn't even necessary to clinch the gold. The U.S. already had an insurmountable lead. Nevertheless, Bella Caroli told her to vault again according to his own recounting of their conversation. Quote, I can't feel my leg, end quote, Strug told Caroli. We got to go one more time, Caroli said. Shake it out. Do I have to do this again, Strug asked. Can you? Caroli wanted to know. I don't know yet, said Strug. I will do it. I will. The injury forced Strug's retirement at 18 years old. Dominique Moscanow, forgive the pronunciation, a generational talent, also retired from injuries shortly after. They were top gymnasts, literally pushed to the breaking point, and then put out to pasture. Coach Caroli and Larry Nasser, the serial sexual abuser, continued their long careers while the athletes were treated as a disposable resource. Today, Simone Biles, the greatest gymnast of all time, chose to step back from the competition, citing concerns for mental and physical health. I've already seen comments and posts about how Biles failed her country, quit on us, or can't be the greatest if she can't handle the pressure. Those statements are no different than Coach Caroli telling an injured teen with wide, frightened eyes, we got to go one more time, shake it out. The subtext here is, our gold medal is more important than your well-being. Our athletes shouldn't have to destroy themselves to meet our standards. If giving empathetic, authentic support to our Olympians means we'll earn less gold medals, I'm happy to make that trade. Here's a message I hope we can send to Simone Biles. You are an outstanding athlete, a true role model, and a powerful woman. Nothing will change that. Please don't sacrifice your emotional or physical well-being for our entertainment or national pride. We are proud of you for being brave enough to compete, and proud of you for having the wisdom to know when to step back. Your choice makes you an even better example to our daughters than you were before. We're still rooting for you. And there you go.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I remember that scene very well. It was like a Friday night. I was in my bedroom, and I just remember her first vault when she got hurt. I was like, wow. Oh my God. And I swear, I thought it was she needed to jump because we need this gold medal. Like, if we didn't do this, it was over. Had we known at the time, maybe we'd change things. I doubt it. They would have still forced her out, forced her to do it. What struck me more was the fact that no one even bothered to make sure she was medically safe to do a second jump.
How does that?
She's injured, and no one says, "Okay, we need timeout to make sure she's okay." Because she can't run. Like if she can't run or anything like that, we don't do any extra damage. It was like, suck it up, go out there with Kerry Strug.
Yeah.
And you hearing how she was pleading, saying, I don't want to do this anymore. And then kind of doing this almost like Star Wars, you will go out there type of deal. it just kind of like blew my mind. Because like I said, as a kid, I was proud when she did that. I was like, yeah, we got it. Then when I watched it again, he's right. It was hard to watch. It was definitely hard to watch. And knowing we know now, it's even ridiculous that no one said anything about this. Like, not one person stood up and said, "Why is she going out there? She retired because of this." Mm-hmm. This young woman, I mean, probably she had maybe one more Olympics left in her.
We're retired at 18.
I mean, because women's gymnastics, it's you start younger, you end younger.
Yeah.
But she probably had what she may have been able to qualify for one more Olympics, but because she sustained this injury, she has to retire.
That's
18. It. And we sit there and call her like this American hero and everything. I wonder if she would call that a heroic moment for her, or would sit there and say, I wish that someone sat there and told me don't do it because it doesn't even matter. We got the gold. Like it didn't matter. They got the gold. All right, they had the gold in their hands. Yeah, insurmountable lead, they said. Insurmountable.
The fact that the zero concern layered on top of the utter uselessness of it.
And then they bragged about the situation after the fact. Like, you hear the coach say what she said she couldn't feel like. I said, go out there anyways. And it's like, wait, what? Like,
it's crazy because I wasn't as familiar with the whole scene as you were. I remember seeing highlights of it, and I remember other Olympics after that one where they're running promos or commercial stuff, and they always show that clip. It's an iconic moment. I would have never have thought that there was this kind of background behind it. Like, it's creepy.
I mean, you surprised like what goes on behind the scenes. A lot of these like athletes in general, like you see with football, like you have coaches that sit there and say you're injured. Are you hurt or injured? There's a difference. If you're injured, you can't play. If you're hurt, you can play. And it's like, well, like maybe someone should make that decision for me because clearly I'm not in the right state of mind to do that. Like for me, you've already won my mind saying that I have to do this, regardless of how much pain I'm in, unless there's a bone sticking out. Like, there have to be people in place to prevent this from happening. You hear it in high schools, you hear it in college. Like, these students are being used and abused and thrown out pastures once their purpose has been served. We see it in the Olympics all the time. You don't know. Like, I would love to do a background and see how many of these women, what they went through back in those times, what their actual recollection of it is. What they really were feeling in those moments. Had they wanted to maybe leave the sport because of what they experienced and how I feel like they were just used at the end of the day. Like, their dream was to go to Olympics, and I feel like part of that was stolen by these coaches by not protecting them when they should have. I mean, it just goes to show what Simone Biles, at the end of the day, had to go through and overcome, because very few people are going to be in your corner when you sit there and do something that apparently is against faux pas, as they would say. Because for a bunch of people like us who sit on our couches and can't have maybe an ounce of that type of talent, we're going to sit there and tell her what she should be able to do and what's, I guess, American about it. It's just
for the people who would still have the opinion that Simone Biles somehow didn't do right by the country or by the sport or anything, go back and watch that Kerry Strug thing and tell me with a straight face that that's normal, that was fine.
Especially when you know what happened after the fact, beforehand. The fact that it was useless. That's how having your quarterback, jump in the end zone when you're up by 8 points already and take a shot. You wouldn't do that. You just sit there and say, "Oh, you're hurt? Okay, we'll have the backup quarterback come in and you'll be safe."
Yeah, sneak it in or something.
Exactly. You don't. What you don't do is sit in there. How about this? Maybe have a trainer check her out before she does anything. I mean, that's just basic human decency, in my opinion. Like, you look hurt. Okay, well, let someone look at you real quick.
Or maybe have somebody paying attention to the score.
I mean, I guess they couldn't count back then. Who knows?
I mean, 1996, that's just crazy to me.
Adults didn't have those. They didn't have Texas Instrument calculators. They couldn't sit there and do the math. So it's just like, at what point do we protect these athletes from themselves? Because we know it. We see these head injuries and everything. like in their world, they have to go through this when they shouldn't. Long-term health does matter in the end of the day.
Yeah.
Mental and physical long-term health, that mind you. And your body does break down eventually. It can only take so much before it breaks down. And what these athletes go through on a day in, day out basis, even though they're making millions and millions of dollars, isn't really normal either.
Mm-mm.
You put your body on a lot of strain. When you see these athletes after the fact, they're usually on crutches, hip replacements. They can barely walk. I mean, it's ugly.
Especially the full contact sports.
It's
football
ugly.
players.
The darker side of these games are it's ugly, and it's we all kind of ignore it. And once they retire, we just don't pay attention anymore.
And then for like an Olympic sport, for an event that there's no professional sport behind it or something, like Simone Biles, like there's no league of gymnastics or not to the extent that we have for the major sports in this country. So it's not like she can continue her athleticism for a profit, make a living off of it. She's going to be living off her endorsements and whatnot. But that's it.
Yeah, this is her. I guess I don't want to say crowning moment, but she worked this hard to get to this moment here, like you said. While other athletes, like limited basketball team, their moment is winning an NBA championship. They have 10 to 15 years to attempt that.
Right.
You win a gold medal is more like the icing on the cake, but for them, I mean, how much is really a gold medal worth versus an NBA championship? It's nice. But first, they expect to win one anyways. And second, it's not as hard as going NBA and doing it. There's a big difference. Like when you're a kid and you're sitting there pretending to hit a game-winning shot, you're not going to hit the Olympics. Nah. Sorry, guys. You're thinking about NBA Finals, Game 7. You're
thinking about draining that shot with a buzzer going in Madison Square Garden with a crowd of lunatics
Spike
going
Lee
crazy.
on one side, you have everyone just yelling at you like, yeah, dinner, baby.
Mike Breen falling out of his seat.
Oh
bang,
bang.
bang.
Yes, the Garden going nuts. Maybe some people rush the court like they used to back in the day. Always wanted
we can't do that anymore.
Yeah, I know, but it's so cool. I mean, goddamn, some fans nowadays. But yeah, it was that I want to say thank you to Byron Heath for writing that.
Absolutely.
I mean, kind of gave perspective about things, in hindsight, and I guess we just got to be more diligent and careful about how we refer to these athletes. They're not animals.
Yeah.
They're people. Even animals deserve respect as well. I want to say that first and foremost, but I'm saying we have to be better. We have to do better. This type of behavior isn't acceptable. It shouldn't be acceptable, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely. I mean, what a perfectly said post that. I mean, you can't make it any clearer than that. So, absolutely, that's why we decided that we wanted to put the message out there here. It's worth the listen. It's worth the mention.
Definitely. So, congratulations, Simone, on all your goals you won this year, and the bronze you've gotten overcoming your. And
congrats to all of our Olympians for all the work and all the
sacrifice. Your families are so probably back at home. You deal with the COVID situation out in Tokyo, and this is not a normal year for Olympics anyways, and you're still out there doing what you have to do, sacrifice what needs to be sacrificed. So bravo, yes, can't say it enough. So on a darker, lighter note, this past week.
Wait, darker, lighter note?
Yeah, well, when I get there, you'll understand why.
Okay, all right.
Kanye. My boy, your boy Kanye,
Jesus.
He did another show recently.
Did he?
Yeah,
Where at?
He did somewhere in Atlanta, stadium where he's living. Pretty lives out of stadium nowadays. But yeah, did another show, out release party where you got to sneak peek, listen, and everything. Apparently, he floated off the stage too. And
floated off the stage.
He performed though. Had a choir who didn't sing. They just kind of ran in a circle around him and everything. But.
That's so Kanye.
Yeah, it's very Kanye. But yeah, So after that, you're expecting the album to drop, right? Like, we've been hearing about the album drop.
I've been dying to know when it dropped.
Did it drop? Have you heard it drop?
No.
I haven't heard it drop either.
Where is this album?
Where is this album? So I would have posed this question to you. Whose album's going to drop first? Kanye's album, right?
Right.
Dr. Dre's album,
Ooh.
Detox.
Oh,
Where we've been waiting for how long now?
Oh, man.
Or does Riri, Miss $1 Billion Woman, congratulations, that she drop an album soon? Because she hasn't dropped an album in a very long time. But, we got 3 amazing artists. And, 2 of them been talking about albums for quite some time. And another one, we've been craving for another album.
The problem is that you've got 3 artists who don't need to do another album. They don't need to do a damn thing.
2 of those artists have been talking about these albums they want to drop, and yet they keep talking about it. They won't really get to it. Hey, Kanye, you had an album release party. 2 of them
Without an album.
Without an album. 2 of them.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing with Kanye is that
he was late too, by the way.
Oh, of course. Well, at least 2 hours, right?
So what he does is apparently, right before he's late, he pushes back the time. So technically speaking, he's only an hour and a half late because the show time is like, let's say 8:00. And then, like, maybe the day of or a few hours beforehand, they will repost it for a 9:00 show.
Of course.
But they won't show up till like 10:30. So, technically speaking, it's an hour and a half, but it really is more like 2.5 hours. It was like, you had it for 8:00. Just because you changed the time after the fact, no, it was because you were going to be late. That's why. But he lives there. He lives in the stadium, by the way. Well, you know better.
That's so Kanye.
That's so Dennis. But
here's the thing about Kanye is that he might actually complete an album, and he'll put the album on the table right in front of you, and you'll say, "Oh shit, look, it's a new Kanye album," and Kanye will look at you dead in the face, and he will say, "That's not an album."
What is it?
It's magic. I don't know what his answer to be with that. But he can straight up just tell you, he can put an album in front of you and say, no, that's not the album. It's not done.
Okay, so my question, didn't answer my question. Who drops their album first? Kanye, Dr. Dre and his Detox, or does Riri, Miss $1 Billion Woman, drop her album whenever she wants? I mean, she got a lot of free time. I feel like if Riri says, I want to drop an album, she drops the album. She'll drop it. I go with Riri on this one. I think because she's the only person, she doesn't have to. So I feel like when someone doesn't have to do something, they just end up doing it anyways.
I think Riri is the most likely of the 3. I will believe that Dr. Dre is even working on another album when I see something.
He started back up on the Detox.
Oh yeah?
After the aneurysm. But then I'm like, should you be resting? But
Kanye's
the only one who's saying his album's going to drop, and it's like usually it's like pressing a button nowadays, right? Because it's not like you have to sit in his stores and everything.
Yeah, no.
And yet your boy has album release parties. I mean, I'm saying like, yo, if you go to an album release party, you would think after the party, about a few hours later, you gonna drop the album.
On an unrelated note, after we're done recording here, we're going to our album release party.
Oh, really?
The OffTheCuff album.
Yeah, y'all invited too.
OffTheCuff Volume 1.
Yeah.
It was... Volume 1, Lock In.
Lock In.
So, I will be doing some Instagram Live from there, and,
give some free... some products and merchandise.
Oh yeah, the swag bags will be going.
We got you guys, or on Kanye. That is, Kanye's doing all that for us, right?
He's producing. He produced, I think, that a couple tracks.
He's gonna bring the choir on. They're gonna clap their hands, stomp their feet. Probably won't sing because Kanye's the only one to sing.
No, they might maybe like serve hors d'oeuvres or something like that.
Hors d'oeuvres.
Yeah, maybe.
Probably cost us like $75. Have you heard that? Right? Like So at Kanye's listening party.
Oh yeah.
Those chicken fingers, like $50, $79 for them.
Those chicken fingers better.
First of all, I better get more than 3. If I get more than 5 for $75, I want a whole tray.
Those chicken fingers better rap the first track of the album to me as I'm eating them.
Dude, I'm thinking, is the album in the tray? You know, is this one of those things where like
the lyrics are written on the chicken in barbecue sauce?
Yes. Like you pour the barbecue sauce on and you start seeing lyrics. Like, oh, there it goes. That's so cool.
Here's the album.
I got it. Like, that's the only thing I think of because who the fuck charges $75 for chicken fingers? What kind of jack? Like, and most people can't afford that. And kind of into it. I mean, come on. And this is why you bring your own
but who
food.
does he have at this album release party for this non-existent album?
Listen, they sell out.
He's got multiple Kardashians there.
I mean,
you know
they sell out. They sell out. At the end of the day, Kanye makes money off this stuff. The first one was a shit show. Yet the second one still sold out and was still a shit show. Somehow they just people thought it would get better, could it get worse? I'm like, no, it just got the same. It's just the same. Kanye took off his little his pantyhose this time.
Oh my god!
Before he was wearing pantyhose, now he has no pantyhose. That's about it.
All right, so let me flip it on you then, right? Of those same 3 artists, which album would you enjoy the most?
Well, I mean Riri, because who doesn't enjoy Riri? Call me.
No, I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about the visuals. I'm not talking about the person. I'm not talking about the person. I'm talking about.
I mean, it's gonna be Dre because like Dre. I grew up listening to Dre since I was a kid. But you know, to be honest with you, like I'm saying, probably hearing this album has never dropped. It's been like what 15 years. Like literally speaking, it's like it's one of those albums like is it today? No, not today. But tomorrow? Oh no, not tomorrow. Like you talked about it. People say, yeah, I've heard it, but yet it doesn't exist. We know Kanye's exists. He had a listening party for it. So I just wonder what he listening to.
I don't know if that's confirmation.
What he listening to at Kanye's listening party? Because it's not the album, is it? Like, because he's not dropping it. But yeah, it has to be Dr. Dre. I mean, I think that's pretty simple because you've been waiting longer.
I think I agree too. I think that's the most the most relevant of the 3. If you told me it was going to be an old Kanye album, I might second guess that.
I miss old Kanye. So, who wins in a battle? You know, versus old Kanye or new Kanye versus?
Oh, that's not even a battle. That's more of a blowout than
Locks and Kanye's still a genius. Kanye's still a genius.
Like, where's the cutoff? Where does old Kanye cut off? Is it album wise? Are we talking 808s and Heartbreaks? Is that the
I get that. That's good. That's safe.
All right, so the first 4 albums versus anything after that.
After that,
oh, it's 20-0. It's 20-0.
Maybe.
No, it's 20-0. Give me one new Kanye song that beats anything on the catalog.
Listen, first of all, I don't want to praise new Kanye, so don't make me do that. Okay, that's like you're going too far.
We're not praising him.
I don't want to give him too much. I was going to give him a little bit of love. You're trying to give him too much love.
We're simply acknowledging that he was able to put 2 and 2 together long enough to get a coherent.
Well, no,
good
the guy is
song
a genius. Is a musical genius. Like you gotta respect the game with that. And regardless of his other stuff that's wacky, Kanye is a musical genius. We both would agree upon that.
Oh yeah.
Whatever version of Kanye there is, or not there anymore, his music acumen is second to very few people, right? But yeah, the old Kanye should and would beat new Kanye.
Absolutely.
In anything. I agree, but it was worth asking the question.
Oh, it's a good question.
I mean, they still are obsessed with themselves anyways, so it doesn't really matter. But, you know, Kanye will always be Kanye. I just think you should not be charging $75 for fucking chicken fingers. And you better not charge like an extra $5 for sauce.
Oh, that's at least $10 sauce. Yeah. At least. And
small ones too.
And Kim Kardashian is sitting there like, oh, give me 3 orders.
And orders, you know, those orders just you get one strip though, like 1 finger per order. Because you can't get on more than one, you know, because they're hotcakes. It's like hotcakes
for real.
Oh, So, anything else you want to cover?
I think that pretty much covers it for today.
Does it? Okay.
I think so.
That trashy ass Mad Hat.
Why you gotta go there?
It slipped on my head.
Why you gotta go there?
Slipped. Anyways, so you wanna bid adieu to our lovely fans who've been with us.
It'll be my pleasure to thank y'all once again for hanging out with us. Thanks for watching.
Call me Riri.
She's not watching this.
Hey, you don't know. Listen,
Riri, if you're watching,
shut up. Like seriously,
drop us in the comments. Let us know you're watching. I mean, I'll bet you $1 she's not watching this.
Okay, you maybe not right away, but maybe eventually. Listen.
I will bet you $1 that within the next 5 years.
Why are you trying to hit on us? Like, come on.
I'm not hating.
Send them away.
She's a $1 billion artist. She's too busy to be watching crap like this.
First of all, she made her billions are on her side to get hustle.
Most of it. But was she like 50% owner of Fendi?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that's not nothing.
It's not nothing.
No, hell no.
And that's self-made, by the way. Self-made. Woman, yeah. Call me.
If you're watching this, we call him.
Please. Give him another chance.
And
leave my glasses.
And drop us some merch.
Oh yeah, I get some merch, for our fans, not you.
Anyway, once again, thanks for joining us. Make sure you drop a like, drop some comments, subscribe, do all that good stuff. It helps us out, goes a long way. Let us know we're doing good, we're entertaining, we're making progress. Walk with us on the ride, and we'll continue. Jesus walks?
Yeah.
Jesus walks?
Don't ever use Jesus. Continue.
Definitely keep riding with us as we get bigger and bigger. We'll be happy to have you along with us. Big time. All right, y'all. From Off the Cuff, it's your boy D, your boy JR. Later, y'all. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Much love, y'all. Catch you on the next one.